Hey guys, in this video, we're going to cover the new way of finding profitable products on Amazon in 2025 and why I think one of the biggest mistakes that sellers are making today is they're only looking at one particular product, but they're not actually looking at the category, whether the category is growing, if it's stagnant, or even declining. Otherwise, you're just seeing the trees, you're missing the entire forest. So we're going to offer you an over-the-shoulder walkthrough with a product idea that I actually have. So joining me today is Michael Raz. He's the head of affiliate partnerships at SmartScout. What's going on, Michael? How's it going?
Hey Gary, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. So Michael, actually, he's a veteran. He's been in e-com for 15 years. He started out launching a number of his own private label products, both off Amazon and on Amazon. And he's been in e-commerce SaaS for about 7 years. And today I'm going to challenge him. Okay, I found what I thought was a cool product opportunity. And rather than, doing the product validation the traditional way using the obvious tools out there, I wanted to challenge Michael at Smart Scout because he has a different methodology and he's going to offer basically like an over the shoulder walkthrough for you guys, to kind of just see how this will be. So Michael, before we get started, I mean, why, like, who's the training for today and why is it so important?
So this training would be for anybody that is interested into even getting into private label and who's exploring potential product opportunities, but also for people who've already launched successful products, have brands, want to expand their product line. You and I touched on the fact that we wanted to just dive right into the tactics and how can you use a tool like Smart Scout for product research, and excited to dive in with you.
Yeah, excellent. So, as we're gonna get into the screen share, if you guys want, there's actually a link below the video where you can get a discount on Smart Scout if you want to follow along. Okay. So, Michael, without further ado, would you like to share your screen and let's get into this?
Yes, absolutely. All right, here we go. All right. So, screen all good?
Yeah, looks good. We see Smart Scout.
Perfect. All right. Well, before we jump straight into the tool, I usually start with this page we have, which is called Smart Scout Data Levels, just to give an understanding of what Smart Scout is. And what it is a really, really powerful database on the Amazon marketplace. If you've started selling or even buying on Amazon, it's very intuitive because it's organized much like the actual Amazon catalog. But the powerful tools that we have built in SmartScout let you explore this database in kind of like almost like an unlimited analytical um, way, different types of analytics you can run. And so diving right over to the tool here, what that means is that our tools that we have, which might be a little bit different to other tools that are out there or other software that's out there, is that our tools are not like, hey, this tool is exactly for this, that tool is exactly for that, this feature is for this feature is for that. What you're seeing here on our dashboard is categories, sellers, products, brands, keywords, which are, and these are actually like gateways into our database. And not only that, but you can run, you can go all the way to the micro when you go down to keywords, or you can zoom all the way out and look at subcategories. And that is a lot of what we're going to be talking about today in terms of the new way to do product research. Much of the training that's been out there, and also the tools that are out there, focus kind of on the in the weeds. Keywords, products, keywords, products. At Smart Scout, you can do that, but you also can start your product research by zooming all the way out and looking at categories, and that's really the methodology, the tactic that I wanted to show you guys today around product research. Um,
Why is the category so important? I mean, most sellers just totally disregard that. Why is it so important?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way that I think about it is instead of having like finding one small win, you can kind of verify and see that you have a long term chance of succeeding because you're falling into the market. So you can basically see where the market is going, not just the product, but the market.
Mm.
If you find a winning product in a market that's stable or even better, growing, you have a much higher chance of success.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
I agree 100%. It's like I mean, to be successful in business, you want to be in a growing market. You don't want to be in a market that's declining, right? Because if it's growing, when the tide rises, all of the boats rise. So even if I mean, you're just like holding ground. If your market's growing like 10%, 15% a year, you're still going to be growing, right? It's like, being on Amazon, right? Versus being on eBay. If eBay's declining, and you launch an eBay, it's like you're going down like a sinking ship, right? But like that's why everybody launched on Amazon, because Amazon crushed it and they became, like the 800-pound gorilla in the room that's on ecom. So taking that to the category level, I think that's why this is one of the key differences. And in fact, Michael actually, he worked for Helium 10. So some of you guys may have heard of him. So he's been on like, both sides of the coin. So I think it's very unique. Michael's going to bring you this perspective, from
yeah.
different SaaSes and pros and cons. So that's why I wanted to get them on. So, Michael, do you want me to talk a little bit about the product idea I had before we dive into the nitty gritty, or what do you suggest?
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to kind of mention that, yeah, so coming over from Helium 10, Smart Scout has actually, our founder, Scott, actually came from the wholesale side. And as you might know, Gary, 50% of the biggest sellers on Amazon are actually wholesalers. So they look at the world a little bit different. And I think that actually is the kind of unique sauce that SmartScout can help you bring. So yeah, why don't we dive into that product?
Yeah, so I actually, I was doing some research. I was using AI as well, and then I was looking for some unique products in growing categories. So one of the product ideas that I came up with was a mushroom coffee blend with specific adaptogens. Okay, so this is a type of, grocery food product, and then the market I believe is growing. I mean, based on my research, and price point is around $20 to $40 a bag, kind of like the mushroom coffee, that type of sub niche, if you guys are familiar. So I challenged Michael with this. I'm like, hey, Michael, what do you think of this product, based on Smart Scout? So he's going to walk you through this right now. So let's get into this. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. So here is the product that Gary mentioned. He had sent me this link, and some of you might recognize this, the brand rather, and the product. And when I first saw this, I was thinking like, "Whoa, this is going to be too dead, like compete, like it's going to be too competitive."
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so what you can also see here is the Smart Scout extension loading, which we'll also use a little bit in terms of analyzing this product potential. But
Hmm.
like, okay, so how could we reverse engineer this idea that Gary found? Let's dive back into Smart Scout. We had this up for a sec, but we didn't talk about it yet. So I'm inside of Smart Scout, and I had just clicked the subcategories view. So, and we've selected, we're on Amazon US in this case for the marketplace. So this view, don't get overwhelmed. SmartScout is all about filtering. You can have various columns, eliminate various columns. You have access to dozens of filters. What we're looking at here is the most zoomed out view of the Amazon marketplace. You see home and kitchen here at $4.5 billion a month and still growing at 30% in the last 12 months. You can see average prices, but this is all zoomed out. So it's going to make a lot more sense when we start diving down into actual subcategories. Because Gary had shared the product, I can dive straight into the subcategory just by checking what subcategory this product is listed in. If you don't know how to do that, I'm sure most people do, but you would see that under product details, you would see the actual bestseller rank, and you would see basically the category that this product is in. So we can see this guy's actually number one in the mushroom herbal supplements category. So I can actually grab this category and go back to Smart Scout, and I can actually paste this category straight in. And now things will be a little bit cleaner, and we can actually look at what's happening a little bit closer. So this is a supplement, and it actually is nested in Health and Household, obviously. But then if you go down into the actual catalog, so of course it's going to be under vitamins and mineral supplements, and then it'll be a subcategory for herbal supplements, and that's where you'll find mushroom herbal supplements. So the category itself is actually a very large market, or quite a large market, almost $25 million a month. And you'll see various aspects about the actual market here. The most important one being, for the purpose of product research, as we were talking about that growth, look at this 12-month growth. We see 51%. And like we said, it's a sizable market. So at that volume,
Yeah.
that's a huge amount of growth. So the sub,
51% growth is so 12 months growth. That means like year to year, right?
yes. So it would be compared to the previous 12 months.
Okay, okay. So
So
that,
um,
I mean, is that strong in your view, or what? I mean, what do you
it's
think?
all it's all relative. So it's it's to the size of the market and the numbers of brands. So you kind of have to be cognizant of that.
Mm,
But when you
mm.
had first shared this with me, this was my exact process. I just popped it into subcategories, and I wanted to see, I wanted to see what the 12-month growth rate, what the market looked like. You can actually click on this little loop, and it'll show you more visually kind of the data we're looking at. So a couple interesting things here. Number one, this category is dominated by third-party sellers. So Amazon is not really playing in here, which is good. Or rather, brands aren't really using Vendor Central and going 1P and selling here, which is good.
So
There
it's
are
90% third party, right? If I'm reading, sorry, the text is a little small. Okay.
Yeah, and so the other thing is there are 600 brands. So that's like, those were my initial impulses. I was like, okay, well, um, very competitive. Like I knew this space was competitive, and now we can see actually how competitive it is. There is almost 600 brands selling these type of products.
Mm.
But again, going back to our market view, 51%. Well, hey, if the whole market's growing at that level, even if I get in and I'm not able to get through, there's a high probability of just growing with that market without all the other factors that we still have to discuss at this point. Um, in the subcategory view, you can also, so now we're looking at this whole market
But
visually. So we
Michael,
got, of
can I just interrupt for 1 second? Because I
course,
think
anytime.
there's a very interesting bit of information that we just extracted. The size of the monthly revenue, like the market cap, is about 25 million. 594 brands. So I did a quick math. I just divided the 25 million by the 594. And then I'm doing math live, guys. And people say never do live math because you might make a mistake. But in my totally live math, I'm getting 42,000 $87.54. Can we, I mean that's basically average like seller revenue per month, if my math is correct. I mean 42,000 a
So,
month.
so actually, yeah, I mean, if you want to do total sanity check like that, I think that would be just like a good signal that surface level arithmetic there. But with SmartScout, you can actually dive straight into all those brands and see what this market actually looks like. You can
Let's get
see
into it. Even better.
so we just did that. We just dived in. So we see those almost 600 brands here. Rise Superfoods is at the very top. But look at this. So this is exactly what you're saying. Even at their, even though they're crushing this specific market, they only control 14.6% of the market share.
Hmm.
So this is very, this shows it's very hopeful to get in here and cause some damage. Anyway, they have this data again is relative just to their performance within this specific category. Rise Superfoods, I don't know actually how what their total revenue for the brand is. I can easily click over and take a peek at that.
Hmm.
So it's about
Hmm.
6 million. But if we go back into our subcategory, we can see in this subcategory it's 3.5. And so in this view, you have a bunch of cool things that you can see besides just the market share. You can see the numbers of ASINs, again, in this category that are contributing to this revenue, to this market
Hmm.
share. You can see the
Hmm.
unit sales, the average price, etc. And so can you for the other brands.
Okay.
So
Can we
where do we
see,
go?
Michael, can we see like if there's any new brands that just entered in? Like I want to know like is everyone here been selling for like, 5, 10 years, or have we have like recent successes as well? Is there a way we can
That
see
is a
that?
great question. Um, I don't think I could do that from the brand perspective. But what I would do to discover that is I would hop over to product. So now instead of the brand, and look, SmartScout makes it so easy to dive between the different layers, right? It's like you have this onion and you can peel it open and, and put it back at any
Yeah, yeah,
moment. That's
yeah.
why I like to start with this slide that disappeared for a second. Okay, so to answer your question though, how would I do that? What I'd want to find is launch date. So I can actually click. So this will be chronologically launch date. And so let's see, the oldest product, or actually, wait, let me just
This is
confirm.
like the newest, right? Is this the oldest or
This would be the
newest? No, this
oldest.
is
So wait,
oldest. Okay, okay.
I can actually move. I should be able to move my columns around, or maybe not at this point. I'd have to probably do that in filters, but let's not worry about that.
That's
So at
fine.
this point,
Yeah.
I arranged from the oldest. And the crazy thing is that I'm seeing is like the guys that were first to market, at least some of these products that they launched here are not even doing so well. This guy from 2000, so anyway, it takes more than just being first, right? But what I want to do is answer your question. I'll do that by flipping this to the newest.
Yeah. Yeah.
So give it 1 second and we'll
Mm-hmm.
scroll back.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it looks like we have somebody that just launched this month. These guys right
Mm-hmm.
here,
Mm-hmm.
Yokote, just started selling. But let's see, Wendian, they're already at 11K. When did they launch? Last month.
Last month. Okay. 11K last month. Okay.
Was that? I think that was the correct one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. So we are seeing some. Could you scroll down a little bit more? Are we seeing any other new sellers like hitting at least six figures? 5,000, 9,000.
Well,
Okay.
we were just in July, so let's
Yeah.
see.
Okay. 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 That's
We
cool.
have a
So we can
15
kind of see
here
the
from Formulation
potential.
Factory.
Yeah, the reason I do that is, I mean, it seems like the review threshold is super high, right? We're talking like tens of thousands. So if
Yep.
like a new person coming out, if they can get like, decent revenue per month, even with, like a new SKU, I think that's a good sign as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And
Yeah.
again, that's why when you initially showed me this product, I was like, there's no way that this is going to be
Yeah. So,
a good
so we're
product.
kind
But
of
also,
debunking the myth. I mean, like the other thing is like, in terms of your marketing ad spend, like PPC, like it, is that data like part of the analysis in SmartScout as well?
yes.
Like, can we
So
see? Yeah.
that's actually what made me so optimistic on this.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Uh-huh.
so, okay, but okay, so basics. Uh, a couple of factors here before we go to the actual analysis. It's important to note the number of like if you want to get I mean, this is kind of arbitrary. In a category of this side, maybe you're not shooting for 1% market share. Maybe you're shooting for a bit less. But the idea you want to the question you want to answer here is like, can I get okay? Let's say, can I get to 50K in revenue with just one ASIN in this category? And
Mm-hmm.
that's what this can help you see. And so you can see here is Nutritional supplements doing that with one. You have multiple brands doing that with one ASIN. And I don't per se need it to be one. I just don't want it to be like a dozen ASINs because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to launch with a dozen ASINs right away, right? Most likely.
Yeah. 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 Okay.
I mean, if that's what it takes and that's kind of part of my plan, that's a different story. But again, we're just
Yeah.
trying to find, private label
Yeah.
opportunities that somebody coming in could
Yeah.
launch.
Hey, Michael, I noticed something that jumped out to me. For Rise Superfoods, their ad spend share is only 0.9%. Does that mean that they're only 1% of their revenue is coming from paid traffic?
It's a very good thing that you picked up on this, Gary. That's not actually what it means. What it's actually showing is the percentage of ad spend that Rise is making relative to all the other brands and all the other products within this category. So they've built a super strong brand. They're not spending a whole lot on ads, and they're still winning. And we're definitely going to be diving into that. That's why there's plenty of opportunity in this category. So, what you can actually do, let's flesh out what do we need to do to figure out whether there's an opportunity here, right? Number one is, if we're looking to compare specifically against this product, is the selling price, right? What is the selling price of this product? Well, their list price is $45. Usually, I don't know. They probably have this discount active here, so it's around $40 for the 6.35 ounce pack. So one
Hmm.
factor is going to be the selling price. The other factor is going to be the price at which we're able to acquire this. Now, I went onto Alibaba and I searched for some private label options for this product. I don't know if you want me to do that right now, Gary. We could do it live if you want.
No, that's okay. I mean, Alibaba is another rabbit hole, but like my other question, like something that jumped out to me is like the percentage of Chinese sellers. I believe that's also one of the data points that we saw earlier as
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
right?
Let's don't let me miss any important data points, Gary. Thanks for keeping me
Yeah, yeah,
on point here.
yeah.
So, um, all this stuff is so second nature to me that I sometimes forget to highlight certain things. So,
Absolutely. I mean, I'm
um,
like I'm the beginner's, mind, right? You're like teaching me and teaching everyone else at the same
yeah.
time. So I see the Chinese seller. What does that say? Revenue share?
Yeah, so that's Chinese seller revenue share. So
Hmm.
exactly, so that's what makes a category like health and household supplements interesting to U.S. sellers is because Chinese sellers don't want to get into these categories, which entail a whole
Hmm.
bunch of compliance and regulatory.
Hmm.
It's just a mess that they don't want to get into. A lot of the time,
Hmm.
they have the lowest manufacturing costs, and that's
Hmm.
that's the biggest advantage they have, and they lead into it, right? So,
Hmm.
so in this case, that's another key point. So mushroom herbal supplements has only got 4.3% in terms of Chinese seller revenue share. Um, we can go back in and figure out. Okay, so should we let's complete this opportunity here, and then I'm going to go back here and do some more conceptual search, just like very straightforward, like tactic wise, in terms of starting your private label product research top down. But real quick, so I found this on Alibaba for like $4. Selling price is 40 bucks roughly speaking. In the SmartScout extension, and I mean I'm sure everybody has their own calculator, but you'll see all the different fees that you would be charged for selling this product based on. Okay, so my unit cost, as I mentioned, was about $4.
Hmm.
But the point is, I would see all the fees that Amazon would take based on this price, based on
Hmm.
fulfillment. I'm not putting in everything, but I'm just trying to like um, quickly validate whether this might be a good opportunity. So if we're selling for $40 and our costs come out to about $15, you can add a buck here and there for inbound shipment, other costs,
Hmm.
but you're still
Hmm.
going to be doing great margin.
Okay.
So that's optimistic, right? But
Yeah.
as
Oh,
we
just what one quick note about that because when I see such a low amount of Chinese seller competition, I mean, I'm not like discriminating against anybody. I'm just saying that Chinese sellers tend to compete more on price, and we want to stay away from price wars, right? That's number one. And number two, I noticed on this listing, on the title, it says USA grown, right? Instant coffee, MCT oil, USA grown. So I suspect that this may be sourced from the US. I'm not an expert on this. I don't know, but from the title, that's what I'm suspecting. I don't know if, Michael, if you can hover over some of the other images, like maybe the second, third images, if we can look at on the package, it says
yeah, yeah,
mushroom
yeah.
coffee in
So
the USA,
um,
right?
and that, I mean, I was mentioning Alibaba just because that's kind of like, for private label, you want a quick check of
Yes.
cost of goods sold.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
of
Yeah.
course, and I would still recommend getting this from the States. So your cost of goods sold might be higher. We can even make it $5 a bag, right?
Yeah.
But the
It may
point,
or it may not because with the China tariffs at like
right,
30 plus
right. Oh,
25,
very,
55%, so it may not. So but anyways, I mean the point is we should put the cost whatever it is in, whether it's $4, $8, whatever, and we
I
can
mean,
get instant,
if we were seriously
calculation
doing
on
this,
the
we want
margin,
to
right?
overestimate the cost like
Yeah.
significantly and still be happy with the
Yeah.
margin. But the
Okay.
one piece of this formula that I'm like really excited to show you and get into is that one thing that you picked up on really quickly was that or just as we were doing the research, was that these products, like look at this, this has 12,000 reviews, right? That's going to be tough. I mean, Vine will help to get out of the gate, but what I'm getting at is in the beginning, and not even just in the beginning, overall, like you're going to have to make an ad commitment to get the product selling. And so, a really cool and unique feature about SmartScout is when you get into a brand. So, we're analyzing against Rice Superfoods right now. At the brand level, so again, going back to this brand here, at the brand level, I can click on search terms and it will give me access to AdSpy. And AdSpy will basically pull all the search terms that we've identified um, uh, this brand advertising on. So all the sellers that sell this brand, these are the search terms that we identified ads on. And also we provide an ad spend estimate. So the idea here
Is
is
this based on the like for the each seller or what for the
this is
category?
this
Just
combines all the
yeah.
sellers. So and I think this is private
Okay.
label. So like, there's actually one seller here. So in this case, it's just based on the one seller. But the key here is so this is at the brand level. So we've got 153 different terms, and these guys have different products in different categories. So not all of these like they don't just sell like this is their biggest category, but they also sell instant coffee, plant-based coffee
Yeah,
creamers,
yeah,
different things.
yeah.
So but this is all the search terms. So when you do this analysis, you would have to go in. So we don't provide that at the product level, so you would have to go into the product on our end and basically go into search terms or let me just open the product real quick. Point I'm trying to make is you get that full list and you would have to export the list and just make sure you're looking at search terms that are relevant to the product that you're looking at. But having said that, okay, so what do we have here? So definitely like mushroom coffee would be one. Um, Four Sigmatic is a brand they're targeting. Rise coffee mushroom, so they're this is a defensive keyword. But point is like this isn't
Okay.
tens of thousands of dollars, right? Even if I
Mm-hmm.
were to export this, okay, let's export this real quick. Actually, if I export it, it's not going to be in this window. Uh, well, I'll just tell you. I mean, you can do this with SmartScout. You can export this and see it yourself. The point is, when I extracted this, and as I was kind of doing this quickly, I just took all of their search terms. I didn't even specify for the actual product. And then I went back to products and I saw how many units this product is selling per month, which
Mm-hmm.
happens to be, geez, 76,000 roughly. And actually even more. I mean, they have variations like two packs and stuff. But I just took this is just like a quick product research level where you're trying, like, of course, for the products that we identify as good potential, we're going to do like really, really meticulous analysis and go further. But we're talking about conceptually here, just to show you the power of some of these data points
Yeah,
that we can
yeah,
provide. So I
yeah.
took
Excellent.
the total ad spend and just divided it by, because that's monthly ad spend, divided it by the amount of units, and that gave me a rough estimate of about 50 cents. And that's again an estimate, but I can kind of think about it. So that's kind of customer acquisition cost. So 50
Hmm.
cents, to sell one item. Of course, you can uh, again overestimate that and raise it, but that is very like optimistic, right?
50 cents per customer. Nice.
Yeah. So then if you
Nice.
add, you have the selling price, you've got your cost of goods sold, you take in all the fees that Amazon would take based on the price, and then you basically add this to the formula, and then you can kind of figure out
Mm-hmm.
your ROI.
Mm.
So
Very good.
that so
Okay.
those are the type of things that you can do. But let me go back and just talk more specifically about subcategories and subcategory product research. So Gary, if you hadn't given me that product to look at, how would I have approached this? So let me just get out of this for a second and go back to how do we do product research going from top to bottom? Well,
Okay.
in the
So in
subcategory.
other
Oh, go
words,
ahead.
let's quickly, wrap this because we're like, we're a little over time. But I mean, I use the analogy, it's kind of like the chicken and the egg, right? So like most people start with the product, which is like the egg, right? Which is kind of like what we did. So I had a product, and Michael ran it through SmartScout, like the growth metrics of the category and all the details, etc. Now we're gonna turn it around. We're gonna look at the chicken. We're gonna look at the like identify like growing categories. So yeah, let's get into this.
Yeah, so maybe we should have started with this. Basically, let's just assume like instead of going right to the product, we're going to talk about what's just the parent category that I'm interested in selling products in. In this case, it was health and household. So let's use that as an example. We're talking about health and household, but now I want to find. I mean, yeah, it could be supplements. But how would I filter the possible subcategories that are stable or growing? Well, what I could do is just filter the 12-month growth rate. So I could say, show me subcategories that grew at least 50% in the last 12 months. We're
Hmm.
doing this exploration in the subcategory tree, but we could also use Niche Finder, which would kind of avoid this complex tree. But let's just
Hmm.
stick with this for a sec. So, health and household is what we're interested in. That's the category we want to sell in. As a whole, it grew 30% in the last 12 months. But we want to find categories within health and household that grew that. Because one of the factors was Chinese seller revenue share. Let's say we don't want subcategories with Chinese seller revenue share, which is greater than, I don't know, 15%, 20%. That's another filter we
Hmm.
can throw on. And so we're really looking at these winning categories. Going back to health and household, so we see there's some categories within vitamin B that are really growing quickly. We were interested in supplements, and look at this, herbal supplements, mushroom herbal supplements. The category we were looking at is just right here.
Hmm.
So that's how quick it goes. So instead of starting from the product, you can go straight into the market. And so all these subcategories that we see, they're growing at least 50% in the last 12 months. They all have different
Yeah.
market sizes. So a 50% growth at 4 million or a 75% growth at 4 million is not as significant as a growth of 50 at 20. So that's just
Hmm.
something you have to be cognizant of. But again, SmartScout is all about filtering, and you can tailor the data really quickly and easily to your strategy.
Hmm. Very interesting. I have a couple of product categories, like because I like to look at trending categories. So I have a couple of ideas in mind, but I mean, we don't have time to go over everything in the call. So
Yeah.
Michael, as we're wrapping up, what else like, do you feel? I mean, you've worked with other SaaS tools. I mean, what else should sellers be looking at that they may be, overlooking right now to help them succeed in 2025?
Well, it's definitely play a role when we're specifically talking about product launches. We were kind of talking about the market in that sense, but you do want to factor both facets. So I would still look at keyword search volumes, but the way that I would look at them would be more again on the category level. We have a tool called Search Trends, which you can see. It actually goes all the way back up to a year, but you can then go like we were looking at health and household predominantly, so
Hmm.
we can tackle it that way, or we can throw in a keyword like supplement. But if I
Hmm.
click health and household,
Hmm.
I could find um, I could
Hmm.
find the trends in a specific category and
Hmm.
go from there. One thing that
Okay.
is that I love about Smart
Hmm.
Scout that is unique and
Hmm.
kind of I think cutting edge is the ability to build custom segments in Smart Scout. So I
Hmm.
could
Hmm.
find because you found a supplement that was the what was the special thing here, the adaptogenic thing.
Adaptogens. Yeah, that was
So the
the feature.
adaptogens,
Hmm.
exactly. So
Hmm.
when I'm looking, the analysis we just did is again, it's kind of macro at the category level. But when you identify something you're excited about, and that showed
Hmm.
that like that surface potential, you want to go in deeper. And how do you go in deeper?
Hmm.
Well, you want to build a
Hmm.
segment of all the most specific products that make
Hmm.
up that
Hmm.
market. Because
Right.
as you know, sellers can list products in different categories, right? And that's part of the strategy that they employ sometimes.
Right.
But we enable this ability to basically build a segment of all specific products, and then you can see that as a whole, and you can then see. You can kind of see clearly. We don't really have time to dive into it today, but I think
Yeah.
that is one of the most useful features that we have.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Michael, I appreciate the super in-depth walkthrough. So based on what we learned so far, I mean, if you were me, would you pursue this product?
Well, I definitely do more research, but the fact that Rise is there with so much limited ad spend, I think there's definitely something there. On top of that, the fact that it looks like this could be a very low, just based on this again surface research, Alibaba. The fact that this is basically a powder ingredient that
Hmm.
seems cheap. I feel like
Yeah.
there's potential there, even though there is high competition.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. So for people that want to learn more about using SmartScout to do the analysis that we just did, we have a special code for everyone today. You can get, I believe it's 25% off SmartScout. Is that right?
It's 25% off for the first 3 months, and
Hmm.
we offer a 7-day money back guarantee. So, don't be, I mean, you do have to put your credit card down, but
Hmm.
it's 7 days, no question asked. If you don't like it, you will be fully refunded. After that, it's prorated.
Excellent. So we'll have the link up below the video. And in case you want to enter in the discount code, it's 7FIG, 7FIG. All right. So, Michael, thank you again for the great training today. If you were to, I'm all about the 80/20 rule, right? So if we kind of step back for a second, kind of distill everything that you covered today, what would be the number one 80/20 recommendation that you like to leave sellers out there as they're doing their product research right now in 2025?
Definitely pay attention to market share. Whether you've launched your brand already and you don't know what your market share is within your categories, or you're doing this based specifically on competitors, get an understanding of market share on Amazon. There's countless studies on this, including one that Harvard published one that we reference. But basically, when you can gain market share, the cost of customer acquisition becomes lower, profitability becomes higher, and we all know that on Amazon, revenue is not equivalent to profitability. So that is definitely what I would leave the audience with.
Perfect. All right, guys. Thanks so much, Michael, for this training. Thanks everyone for joining us. Good luck out there. We'll see you at the next session. Bye, everybody.
Thanks so much, Gary.